For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
NewsSpin is the best. Listen up. NewsSpin is the best. Me say listen up massive. NewsSpin is the best, yeah. Better than every talk show. The most conscious monitor talk show. All across the world. Check the signal, it blaze up the airwave. NewsSpin on your radio, hear me now. Tune in the frequency, come along, Junior. NewsSpin a vice up the play. NewsSpin is the best. Listen to the masses. NewsSpin is the best. Knowledge must abound. NewsSpin is the best. Fancy moon knock a play way. NewsSpin is the best. Papa Bond, yeah, by team, all man. Across the land, all across the globe. Echoes of voices, we join in hands in hands. Harmony rising with the afternoon sun. Come along, NewsSpin has begun. NewsSpin is the best. Better than every talk show. The most conscious monitor talk show in the world. The true facts about Sophia volcano, Sandy Beach, banana and Sneem Malmo. Voices from the chat room, the capital Castries Hills. We feel you warm Caribbean breeze, teaching the truth, making hearts feel ease. Knowledge must open up every mind. Learn about your island home. We leave no one behind. NewsSpin on your radio. Pull up the volume, Jay. NewsSpin on your radio. Pull up your seats. Afternoon time. NewsSpin on your radio. Come along. NewsSpin on your radio. Let the message strong.
And before you ask me, I'm going to tell you, I'm making no statement on the Richard Fredericks issue. Because the police are continuing their investigations, and I'm making absolutely no statement on it at this point in time. I'm awaiting the police investigation. When the police have investigated, when the police have come to a conclusion, the Prime Minister will take a decision on the future of Minister Richard Fredericks in the Cabinet of St. Lucia. But right now, I'm making no statement. And no amount of slander, no amount of talk shows, no amount of memes, no amount of Facebook posting will make me make any statement in the public on Richard Fredericks until the police have completed the investigation.
The island's Prime Minister and Minister with responsibility for finance speaking yesterday during the pre-cabinet press briefing. Philip J. Pierre. Hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. NewsSpin is on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. That's why we like you to please like the video, share, subscribe to the NewsSpin YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the NewsSpin YouTube channel grow. We got up until 2 o'clock this afternoon, and in a bit we'll be taking your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We hope you're having yourself an enjoyable Tuesday thus far. As always, we have a lot to discuss on the broadcast. For example, somebody sent me a WhatsApp message, and the person wants to be known as a concerned citizen. And I'll just read part of their contribution because I think it's a little too long, but I'll read part of it. The silence that speaks. Public funds, public trust, and the accountability deficit in St. Lucia. And that is by a concerned citizen. You know, when you're too afraid, don't want to be victimized, you use this fake name, the assumed name. At approximately 5 o'clock on the morning of Thursday, 2nd of July, 2026, officers of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force arrived at the residence of a sitting cabinet minister. Richard Frederick, Minister for Housing, Local Government and Urban Renewal and Member of Parliament for Castries Central, was taken to a police facility, questioned over the course of the day, and released that evening. By his own account, delivered on his television program that same night, his cell phone was retained by investigators. Nearly 4 weeks later, the people of St. Lucia know little more than they did that morning, and that in itself is the scandal within the scandal. What we know and what we are not being told. The facts on the public record are these. The office of the Prime Minister confirmed in a statement issued the following day that the minister had been detained for questioning as part of an ongoing matter and subsequently released. The Commissioner of Police, pressed by journalists at a press conference, declined to confirm or deny anything at all. No charges have been announced. The nature of the allegations has never been officially disclosed. The minister himself, while denying any wrongdoing and declaring that he has nothing to fear, has declined to state what he was questioned about. Into this official vacuum has poured a torrent of material on social media. Images purporting to show checks drawn on the St. Lucia Social Development Fund made payable to a private individual in repeated amounts, alongside store vouchers and deeply troubling claims about the circumstances in which that assistance was provided. These claims have not been independently verified, and fairness demands that they be treated as allegations. But fairness also demands something of the state, an answer to the questions those images raise, because the questions do not depend on the truth of every claim attached to them. You'll end there. So the Prime Minister of St. Lucia says that not until the police conclude their investigation into that particular matter that he'll be in a position to speak further with greater clarity and also to act. In the meantime, this serves as a major distraction to the people of St. Lucia and by extension the government. And I imagine also it could be a source of annoyance for many people in St. Lucia. In most jurisdictions, authorities, the Prime Minister in that case, would make a determination as to whether to have that minister in his or her cabinet or not. In this particular case, the Prime Minister decides that the minister can proceed on vacation. I don't think that in itself there is any wrong with this. I don't think there's any rule that conclusively says that the Prime Minister has to deal with it or this situation in any particular manner. And he has to deal with it from his own judgment. And also, he would have to live as well with the consequences of his actions. But there's a tendency in St. Lucia, unfortunately, for things to play out to a certain extent in the media and for things to linger on. And before you know it, people forget and we move on to the next controversy. The next thing that is so salacious, that grabs our attention and holds us captive. Here is the dilemma that we face as a society. Because ordinary people in this St. Lucian society of ours will tell you that whenever they find themselves in a bit of discomfort with the law and police are investigating, very often justice is dispensed swiftly, with alacrity, eagerness. And so it appears there is one law for the ordinary man from certain communities, your Marchand and your Fouachaud and Poleon in Dennery and in the Mang in Vieux-Fort, and if you're in Fort Saint-Jacques and so on. And there's another law for people who are prominent, holding high office, people who are deemed to be powerful in our St. Lucian society. And you cannot deny that fact. There is one law for the rich, the prominent. There's another law for the poor in this St. Lucia of ours. So therefore, I would not be too surprised if in the not too distant future, poor people become a little bit wiser and they would put up some kind of challenge, some kind of fight, some kind of resistance when there are efforts by law enforcement in St. Lucia to dispense justice, very often against them. Could be some kind of resistance, because I don't believe that people would be subjecting themselves to that kind of inequality forever. At some point in time, I'm sure that they will be enlightened, they will see what is happening, and then they would move to ensure that there is justice on an equal footing. But this one is play out politically. This one also has implications for the Prime Minister and also for his administration. Because it is not a case where, out of fear, certain sections of the media would decide not to continue to explore this particular issue and ignore it and move on. You see, on the side of the government and the St. Lucia Labour Party, there is some level of what you might want to see it as ingenuity on its part. Setting up Facebook page after Facebook page and creating a distraction and trying to prop up the administration. And then, on the side, I suspect, on the side of the opposition, they're doing likewise. So that's where the battle is, on social media. And that's where all the eyes are fixed. People are listening. People are reading. People are discussing. That is where the whole psychological warfare is taking place. And I would not be surprised if, come the next general election, that this would be a deciding factor. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia and political leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party is very much aware, I am sure, that he has to tread cautiously in how he deals with this particular situation. 5 years in office. It's into its second term. And that's why we're asking the question right now. How has the St. Lucia Labour Party government put you first over the last 5 years? That's the NewsSpin question of the day. And the NewsSpin question of the day once again reads, how has the St. Lucia Labour Party government put you first over the last 5 years? I'll go through some of the comments and then I'll tell you how the SLP administration has put you at the bottom of the heap last over the 5 years. And somebody says there, in response to the questions, just follow on Thursday night and you will know how. So, you know, it's on that basis of a political party coming to inform you that you will know that the administration has put you first. Not on the basis of what you've experienced over the last 5 years. Another person says, I remember the saying by a former prime minister who said, better days are coming. That was like 2 decades plus ago, and we're still waiting while we're experiencing bitter days. Another person says, St. Lucia's gone 5 years backwards. Another one says, for sure not me. Some more of your responses. Why would SLP put anyone first when, by the admission of the leader, country first, our self first, and then country? Another response, 5 years has put us worst. And we have some more comments, more reactions to the question of the day. SLP only put us last for the past 5 years. All they have done is sex for checks. St. Jude's is still a building. Another one says, we are the weakest growing economy in the OECS. Some more comments. No shame. Words don't say what you do. Actions speak louder than words. So open your eyes. No water. No St. Jude. All bills raised. So what they do? That's according to yet another response to our question of the day. Somebody says that the SLP government only put themselves first. Even the vouchers and checks they were giving is in the internet of gaining votes, still putting themselves first, while St. Lucians are last to know of the terms of the deals where their money is being spent. Last to get gas and tax breaks. Last to get audit reports for the account of their tax, CIP, SSDF, etc. Last in receiving transparency and in most cases won't be last because we still never get answers. Not to mention visa restrictions caused by mishandling of CIP, SLP putting the people last. Another one says, many more times than the Shastny government could ever dream of accomplishing. Another comment, by showing off their sudden wealth to us when the average citizen cannot buy their basic needs. Some more, by stopping all projects they find out there, didn't care if people were at work or not, shaking my head. Some more of your comments. When will some of us understand the UWP got the worst beating ever at the poll? Responses to the NewsSpin question of the day. How has the SLP government put you first over the past 5 years? In a number of critical areas, the St. Lucia Labour Party administration has put you last, at the bottom. Take, for example, the decision taken by the administration as soon as it got into office, July of 2021, to do what? Disband the K9 unit. Disband it. Why? Because they felt, how much? $30,000 was too much for security to prevent contraband from entering our shores. I think it was $30,000 every month. What was the government of St. Lucia getting for that? 1 K9. In fact, not 1 K9, it was 3. Yeah? 3 K9s. 3 K9s. You had the handlers for the K9s. 5 handlers for the K9s. Accommodation for the dogs as well as for the handlers. And the accommodation included AC for the dogs. Nutrition, proper nutrition. Healthcare. It's not like some of us or some of you go to St. Jude, can't get proper health care. And other health institutions can't get proper health care. Proper health care for those K9s was guaranteed. And the government decided to disband that unit. Now, I don't know why. It has not been able to rationalize its decision. Why? Just the cost factor? And it took several years before the French gave in to the request for a K9. Several years. What happened to Dyson? You remember Officer 642? So it failed the people in this regard. As far as their security is concerned. As far as the security, not only your security, but the security of the state. The entire country. Years upon years. Water. You can discuss the most controversial subject on NewsSpin. And believe you me, people will take the opportunity in between, because water is life, to send you WhatsApp messages. And you've heard them. Please inform Wasco that we have been without water over such and such period. Please send us some water. And I think it's high time we cease blaming Wasco for your predicament. I think it's time we cease doing that. Cease giving Wasco a bad name. I have reached a point where I mean, we have to say that they're trying under the circumstances under which they are operating. They are trying. Now you'd say, you never thought I would say that. but it's true. Speaking with some of the workers at Wasco, blame your government. What has the government done as far as the desilting of the John Compton Dam? Keep making reference to the previous administration did not do this, did not do that. 6 years. 6 years you are in office. And what did you do? Tell us, what did you do to improve that problem? And somehow you have taken this lightly, you know. You have stomached it. You have accepted it. And then they have imposed an increase on top of that, as the old people would say, asusa. Asusa. Yovlope pli. Pudlo. Ekodi, okay. Pama Kulede. She calls NewsSpin quite often to complain and to complain and to complain. So that's a major issue. That water fiasco, that passes being a national security issue. That's a health issue, a health concern as well, of immense proportions. So they have failed you in that area. And I know some people are going to say, he didn't get it right. He's exaggerating. It's hyperbole. Failed the people in the security with the disbanding of the K9 unit. Not putting you first when it comes to water, you having access to water. The Prime Minister said during a press briefing that he has 11 water tanks. 11 water tanks. And some people can barely afford one or two for the most. He has 11 water tanks. Accountability. The government has put you last, you know. And I want you to think about this. The government, consisting of the Cabinet of Ministers, looking at it from the perspective of the Cabinet of Ministers, they sit around a table and they make decisions. They decide that they would be enter into a deal with Arsenal to the tune of, I don't know, let's say millions of pounds. I would not be reckless if I say that until a government minister decides to correct me. Millions of pounds. And somehow they can't tell you, the taxpayers of this country, the nitty-gritty of that deal, or even the basic, how much is it costing you? This is how much it's costing them, you know. How much it's costing you. So as far as accountability and transparency, they have put you last. They have failed you. In particular, and personally and directly, they have failed Lucilla Charles, the partner of Ricky Joseph. He's gone missing. He's missing at sea. 4 children. And no one in authority, not the Prime Minister, no one, they have not visited this lady. And normally, if he were on the opposition benches, once they get into government, he would have visited that lady already. So failed that lady directly. And there's so many instances where, for example, you've had 3 or 4 homicides over one weekend. Prime Minister is in St. Lucia, does not issue a statement, etc. And people tell you, every time there is a homicide, you want the Prime Minister to visit the people or speak on it. He is the leader. He is the National Security Minister. He has to care about the people, because every time there's a general election, see the Prime Minister exerting his energy. Rally after rally, 3 or 4 rallies on a particular day, constituency after constituency, visiting house to house, visiting healthy people, because you're talking about votes. So the Prime Minister has very often has not demonstrated that he wants to put you first. And even when he contacts you, hobnobs with you, the motive is to get votes. That is what it is. So I've given you some points there where I believe that this administration has put you last. I want to hear from you now. We have a lot more to discuss, but let's hear from you now at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. 716-2026. And let me see if I have any of your comments to go through right now while we are awaiting your calls. So let's see. But don't forget, we have a lot more to discuss on the broadcast between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon. And as always, you can determine the pace of the program. You can let us know exactly what you want us to discuss. Let's see if we have a WhatsApp message. Somebody says that I swear this building looks like a box, and they've sent a photograph, but don't have sufficient time to go through it. Another one says that Timmy asked a very pertinent question. What is most discouraging to me is the fact that the SLP government supporters who contributed to the NewsSpin question were not able to give one reason why, by which they considered the government putting them first. Their focus is on the beating the opposition received and what former Prime Minister Shastny did or did not do. This shows me the level of thinking. We need a government which will, rather than giving people a fish, they would teach them to fish. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Yes, good afternoon, team. How do you do?
I'm okay, ma'am. Good afternoon. How about you?
I'm okay. I'm just overseas observing what's happening to my St. Lucia. And I am coming to the conclusion that the SLP can see themselves entrenched in power in St. Lucia. And that is because of the mindset of the people. The mindset of my people is one of defeat and mendicants and handouts and the next thing, whatever material, and we do not pay attention to what is the essence of a person's character. We would prefer handouts. So we want to adopt our mendicant position and remain in that posture forever. So the SLB is well suited to St. Lucia, and it's sad to say that the UWP offers a package of vision and self-development and by extension social transformation and national development. These are not values that St. Lucians ascribe to. We do not hold to that. So UWP will continue to be deleted on the ballot paper by St. Lucians. It will continue to be the SLB because of the mindset entrenched in the people. There is this generation that has adopted this state of being a mendicant. And you ask me to come to stoop at your door, and you ask me to lick your boots in order to get a meal or to get a book for my child, then you're all glory and king. But the other man is telling me to learn how to develop myself, to grow, and by extension, develop my nation. No, I don't want that story. So sorry to say that that's how it is. That's how it's going to be. Anybody who wants better for themselves, I'd advise you to flee this land. God bless you, Tim.
You too, ma'am. Thank you so much for your contribution. Let's take a call on the landline. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello?
For your contribution.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Boy, Tim, if we did not know or did not confirm that you were the most monitored talk show, I can certainly say to you that last week Friday proved that NewsSpin definitely is the most monitored talk show in St. Lucia. And it is being monitored, Tim, because by the time I spoke to you last week, people were already calling. Yesterday you made a statement about, some of the habits that we have and the habit of gossiping, Tim, he say, she say, parole jete, parole bola, oui, and people feel there is a need for them to call people and tell them what other people say. So last week after I called about the fire, which I am going to get to, there were so many calls made to Reno Kajada with reference to what I said about the dialysis machine, Team, I want St. Lucians to understand that I'm not the type of politician who speaks and says things about people, but I speak about issues. And I have a personal relationship with a lot of politicians on the St. Lucia Labour Party side, and including people like, for example, Claudius Francis will tell you, sometime 2020, was it 23 or 24, when we had that protest against him to remove him as the speaker, to say that he was wrong, for trying to prevent Alan Chastney from leaving the parliament, etc. And while I was at the front protesting for him to come out, I went in there, greeted him, gave him a nice hug, and went back to my protesting. You see, we have gotten to the point, Timothy, that if you labor or you flambo, you have to be vexed with people, you have to say nasty things about people, and not speak about the issues that are affecting our country. And I think it is very shameful for us in St. Lucia to feel that we should not speak about what is affecting us because it's along political lines. So, Tim, I saw, and again, I'm very disturbed, Tim, about what is happening in our country. I had a chat with a senior public servant today, and what she said to me, Nancy, I'll tell you one thing. It's two things happening in this country. Senior public servant, Tim, is there is a silent, deliberate silencing of people, including public servants in the St. Lucia. And she said to me, don't believe anything you see that is happening, because there's a lot of lies and portraying things to be as they are not. And I believe that, Tim, because I'm sure you listened to the minister in the press conference, and I listen also to the fire service. Tim, let me ask you a question. If there was a fire at your home, an electrical fire or whatever fire at your home, and you were able to contain it, and you did not call the fire service, does it mean that there was no fire at your home?
Yes, caller. It doesn't mean that they didn't have a fire, no?
Because you didn't call the fire service. So the fire service would not have a record of a fire at Timothy's home, because you never called the fire service and you were able to contain your fire. Are we agreed on that?
Agreed.
Okay. So when I called on Friday, I was very mindful. And I think if you play the clip again, I said that there was an electrical fire at St. Jude. I indicated the cause of the fire. And I indicated that it was not a big fire. Timothy, St. Jude is completely surrounded by a community, right?
Yes.
The hospital is located, and all around the hospital are houses and people, who live there. People see things, people hear things. And I told you that I passed there deliberately to ensure that I saw with my eyes the Lucilec vehicles that were there, because I was told that they were there trying to fix the issue and the hospital was running on generator. And so we have gotten to a point where in this country, in order to protect our political party, in order to protect government and ministers, we use institutions, state institutions, to go out there and to cover up and to speak convenient truths. And they are very careful and mindful how they make their statements, so that they will not tell St. Lucians what is going on. Timothy, would it not have been better for a government official ministry official, whoever, to say, we acknowledge, yes, there was a small electrical fire, there were some issues, and we have brought in the necessary technicians and Lucilec and whoever else to fix it. We want to make the hospital safe to ensure that anybody who comes in there is safe. Wouldn't that not have been better for the government to acknowledge this than to try and get everybody with semantics, press release and statements to say we do not have on record any fire? Would that not have been better, Timothy?
It would have. But listen, ma'am, I made a call just a few hours ago because I intended to address this issue, because when we conclude, we'll be hearing from Mr. Owen Casabo of the St. Lucia Fire Service. My information is that there was an issue, electrical issue, but not within the hospital itself, not within the St. Jude Hospital, the rehabilitated health institution. I think it's something that occurred outside of the hospital, which warranted intervention of Lucilec, and they attended to it. So it's outside of the hospital, but not within the hospital.
Timothy, it was within the hospital compound, and you see, again, people are giving you semantics. So if it didn't occur inside a building, but it occurred outside a building, is that not within the hospital?
But what I'm hearing is it has nothing to do specifically with the wiring of the hospital, or anything to do with the internal aspects of the electrical operations of the hospital, but something from outside that warranted Lucilec reacting or responding to it.
Well, Timothy, you and I have different information. Because when the electrical fire, because it actually sparked and there was fire, when it occurred, I got the call, I got the information. I just asked people not to compromise themselves in terms of taking pictures, etc. But in spite of that, whether it occurred, let's say your information, my information, something occurred, to date, nobody from the government has acknowledged that there was an issue. Nobody has acknowledged that whether it was an electrical, inside, outside, whatever the semantics were, nobody has acknowledged that there was an issue. And this is a health institution, which was my concern. This is a health institution that is preparing for transition, that is preparing for sick people to come over. But yet still we want to hide the fact that there are issues within the hospital. And the statement from the fire service is very accurate. The fact that the fire service would say, okay, at this time when we inspected, we give a pass, does not mean that issues would not occur. So if it means that issues would not occur, why is it when an issue occurs that we are trying desperately to hide it, Timothy? Why are we trying desperately to prevent the public from knowing, yes, we have an issue, but we are fixing it, we are working on it, we are trying to ensure that everything is safe and secure for the people of St. Lucia? Why is it so difficult for us to acknowledge that?
And the other thing is, Mrs. Charles, is that whenever people raise certain concerns in the society, governments, and let's look at it from the perspective of this particular administration, they have a tendency to look at it from a political standpoint, as opposed to somebody taking issue with something. We have the PR in place, apparatus in place. Let us bring those personnel, come forward, do the necessary calls, and put the information together, and then inform the public. As opposed to allowing this to linger over several days and maybe weeks, and then to come in and to do some damage control, it tends to give the impression that people are hiding something, or there's some kind of cover-up,
We have created a state. We have created a state, and you alluded to the issue in your opening, where we are being told as a St. Lucian public, do not believe the media, do not believe anything we see anywhere else but from government officials. That is what is being insinuated in this country.
Yeah, but that's dangerous, huh? That's very dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
It's very
because All they want you to believe is what they say and what they tell you. So they tell you they are the persons in authority. They are the people in the know-how. Why was it important for the fire service to make a statement when you didn't get a report of a fire? Why did you have to come out and say anything? Because you didn't get a report of a fire. Does not mean that there was not something that occurred. You understand? So it is about saying, don't believe Timothy, don't believe New HTS, don't believe any reporter. And the Prime Minister is the one who started it. I will not say anything about that, and that's it, so you don't question them anymore. So you only must believe what a government minister says. Whereas we're living in a very small society, Timothy. It's a very simple, it's a small community as a nation where everybody knows everything and everybody knows everybody. You understand? And people who are working within the remit of those institutions understand and know. See, let me explain to you what is a dialysis. And that's why I was very concerned. I have a son who's on dialysis. So I'll just give you a brief synopsis of what this means. Everybody in your body, you have your kidneys. Everything you consume, Timothy, you have your kidneys is supposed to clean and take out all the toxins out of your body. When somebody's kidneys shut down and your kidneys don't work, it means that your body has all those toxins, it's all in your bloodstream, and you need to clean it. Dialysis is that a patient goes there and they sit for 4 hours, Timothy. This is a life and death situation every single time you sit on that machine. You sit there for 4 hours, and every single unit of blood in your body or percentage of unit of blood in your body goes into a machine. So it means that your body now doesn't have that blood. That blood goes into the machine. The machine cleans the blood, take out all the toxins from it, and sends it back into your body. So you are relying on a machine to ensure that you can stay alive for that 4 hours. And some people have to do that 3 times a week for 4 hours, Tim. And so when I call and share a concern, it's not because of UWP, like you said, or Labour Party. I don't care about UWP and Labour Party. I care about the health of the people of this country. And so if some of these people, Tim, if any of those ministers, the Prime Minister falls sick, do they go to St. Jude's?
No.
No, they don't even go to OKEU.
Well, let's put it this way. They go to St. Jude, they might go to OKEU and Tapion to be stabilized. And after they're stabilized, they're flown out, yes.
But most of them don't even go to OKEU. Last year, when you had the issue with Virginia, I don't know that. Was she at OKEU or Tapion?
I think it was Tapion.
What's the gentleman name? Lisa is replacing the other minister.
Joachim.
Joachim
at Tapion.
And then to Matnik. They don't even go to OKEU. You understand? So when we share our concerns about what is happening within the healthcare system in this country, when you fall sick, nobody cares if you UWP or you Labour. It is about a patient, and it's about ensuring that we have proper healthcare in this country. And so my concern about those dialysis units, it still remains. They have transition. And by the way, I want to say congratulations. Timothy, every single operation that is happening at St. Jude's right now, are you aware that they are happening in the structures that Alan Shasley constructed under his administration?
I read about this recently. Yes, I read about this recently.
The dialysis unit is part of the box, whatever they call the box. That is where dialysis is. That is where physiotherapy is. Everything that is happening at St. Jude's right now is happening in the box. The box that they did not want to complete. The old structures are still you still have workers running up and down and people running up and down in the place up to a day like today as we speak. And that's why the minister was very semantic in saying, well, we had a timeline, but we still need to. Things are still not up and running and up to the standards at the old St. Jude's Hospital. Everything that's happening is still in the box that Alan Shasley constructed. But yet still you have people giving you semantics and everything. So, Timothy, I want to say, I will not be silenced. St. Lucians, I want to say to St. Lucians, do not be silenced. Call NewsSpin, call HTS, DBS, whatever media outlet. Put it on social media. Because, Timothy, we cannot operate in a state where that the only news and the only information that we are to believe or to get is to come from the authorities, when we have seen there's a deliberate effort by the authority to ensure that we do not get accurate, current, and correct information. They don't answer a question correctly. They don't answer you pointedly. They asked the minister about the fire. Do you know what he said? He said, I have no report on my desk about a fire. But he knows that he was called, and he knows that he was told. But if he says he has nothing on his desk, he's not lying, because he doesn't have a report on his desk. So technically he's not lying, but he knows for sure what he has said is not true. Is that what we want in this country, Tim? Timothy?
I'm listening to you,
Thank you very much, and have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much. This is there from Nancy Charles, a member of the opposition UWP. Let's hear from the St. Lucia Fire Service. Here is Officer Owen Casable.
The St. Lucia Fire Service has become aware of public statements and the discussion alleging that the new St. Jude Hospital has experienced a fire incident since becoming operational. In the interest of providing accurate and factual information to the public, the fire service wishes to clarify that, based on its official operational records, that there are no reports of any unwanted fire occurring at the new St. Jude Hospital since its opening. Furthermore, inquiries conducted by the fire service have confirmed that no such fire incident has occurred within the hospital premises. Having the statutory authority from the laws of St. Lucia, specifically the Industrial and Commercial Building Act, better referred to as the Fire Safety Act, employs the fire service to inspect industrial, commercial, and other buildings of public interest to assess the compliance with established fire and life safety requirements. This mandate is carried out fairly, impartially, and in accordance with the law, with the protection of life, property, and the environment as our paramount consideration. Public safety remains the primary objective of every inspection, assessment, and enforcement action undertaken by the St. Lucia Fire Service. At no time will any other interests take precedence over our duty to safeguard the public. It is important to emphasize that the issuance of a fire safety certificate does not constitute a guarantee that a fire will never occur within a building. Fire safety certification is not an assurance against the ignition of a fire. Rather, it is a confirmation that at the time of the inspection, the building complied with the applicable fire and life safety requirements prescribed by law. Recent incidents around the world have demonstrated that buildings operating in compliance with fire safety regulations can experience fires due to unforeseen circumstances, including accidental ignition, equipment malfunction, human error, or other contributing factors. We have witnessed the devastating fire at the Chiltern Firehouse in London in February 2025, a luxury hotel widely recognized for complying with modern fire safety standards. The most important fact is that the building's fire safety measures enabled the safe evacuation of approximately 100 occupants without loss of life. Our role at the St. Lucia Fire Service is to ensure that certified buildings are equipped with appropriate passive and active fire protection systems, that adequate means of escape are provided and maintained, and that occupants are afforded the greatest possible level of protection. Additionally, we ensure the training of employees in basic fire safety procedures so they are prepared to respond effectively during the initial stages of an emergency prior to the arrival of our firefighters, and to carry out a safe and orderly evacuation when required. The St. Lucia Fire Service would like to take this opportunity to reassure the public of its commitment to protecting the people of St. Lucia. through the application of sound fire safety engineering principles, best fire safety practices, and modern operational strategies. We will continue working diligently to reduce fire risk and enhance the safety and resilience of our communities.
Officer Owen Kazabo of the St. Lucia Fire Service. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. We are focusing on the perspectives coming from all sides, your Nancy Charles, as well as from the St. Lucia Fire Service. The briefcase, they're announcing a brief closure, and that closure notice is all about the briefcase being closed from Tuesday, the 28th of July 2026, that's from today, until the 12th of August 2026. The briefcase will reopen on Thursday, the 13th of August 2026, and they would like to apologize for any inconvenience this may cause and would like to thank you for your understanding. Still to come on the broadcast, there has been yet another death. We'll explain in just a bit.
Advance your career at Lightspark Training with a globally recognized certification. Conveniently located on High Street, Castries, Lightspark offers a wide range of programs to make the most of your career. Certifications in project management, risk management, quality management, marketing, ACC accounting, human resources, Microsoft, Cisco, and IT technician certification, graphic design, web design, and programming. Complete a diploma in accounting in 6 months or a bachelor's degree in just over a year. Call us today at 451-8918 or visit us at www.lightspark.com.
qui ka veni, mais nous besoin si pou. Ensemble, nous sa protéger de l'eau nous, santé nous, et ka siwe de l'eau pour l'autre génération. Un petit pas, ça mène go changement. On nous protéger de l'eau nous, et la vie nous, pour tant qui ka veni. Pour plein d'informations, visitez wascostlucia.com.
St. Lucia, are you ready? The Kings are back. This August, come experience the excitement of the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League cricket as the St. Lucia Kings light up the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. Join us on August 12th, 14th, 16th, 19th and 21st from 7 p.m. Come for the cricket, come for the entertainment, come for the music, the vibes, the food and the unforgettable atmosphere. Bring your friends, bring your family, and wear your King's colors with pride as we defend our home turf. St. Lucia Kings, one nation, one pride. Get your tickets now and be part of the action at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. We continue with your calls and WhatsApp messages 4522979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Yet another cattle has lost its life. Referring there to one of the cows that were transferred from the shock area over to Kokodan over in Vieux-Fort. So several cattle before that perished. Probably they were malnourished, among other issues. But on this occasion, this cattle you're watching on Facebook and YouTube was struck by a vehicle yesterday, last evening. Apparently it got out of the holding area at Kokodan, ended up on the streets, and was struck by a vehicle and perished as a result. So one more cow has passed away. And the owner, I imagine right now as we speak, what's his name, Clendon, is mourning. He's mourning the death of yet another cow. 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let us hear now from the Prime Minister on another matter, saying that St. Lucia has lost close to $45 million as of April up until now as a result of that war between the United States and Iraq, and of course involving, from time to time, involving Israel. And that is due to the high cost of oil on the world market, recently reaching as high as $100 million a barrel. Here's the Prime Minister.
Sarah Flood was downstairs.
Oh, I have not seen that lady. The last time I saw that lady was in the Catholic Church at something. I'm tired on that.
And so we didn't have anything to do with it?
I have not seen that lady except the last time I saw her at the Catholic Church at something. She was somewhere?
All right, we don't have that clip. Maybe we'll try to get it at some point in time. We'll be able to play it for you. Once again, the Prime Minister is saying that we have lost about close to $45 million as a result of the increase in the price of crude oil on the world market, and that the resultant effect of the war in the Middle East involving the United States as well as Iraq. But we'll turn to it during the course of our broadcast. Let's see if we have any of your WhatsApp messages in the time being. What are you saying there? Somebody says that Tim, just bear with me, trying to get this one. And I just also read in the chat room somebody from Gara complaining about water, not being without water for a particular period of time, and calling on Wasco to provide them with the precious commodity. All right, somebody says that, Tim, from my perspective, who's money? Some more of your WhatsApp messages. Somebody says that, Tim, the price of electricity had tripled recently. Ridiculous. And you know what? In my view, Despite the oil factor, Wasco's inefficiencies with the continuous water supply shortages causes your water pump to be constantly running, eating up electricity. So basically, Wasco's inefficiencies are also directly contributing to Lucilec's already guaranteed profits, and the ordinary consumers are the ones paying. Agree? Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. And this one reads, with all the information going on about the St. Jude Hospital, I think whoever is in charge should put one of the largest tanks of water at the hospital in case of a fire, and also fire extinguishers that can out an electrical fire. Because from what I've heard, water is not the right thing to use in an electrical fire. Also, why has Wasco asked for an increase until it's only putting water tanks, unless it is only putting water tanks in different areas for people to carry water to their homes? Tell Wasco and the government to fix this problem. Okay, so I think we have that clip all set with the Prime Minister saying that as of April up until now, the government of St. Lucia has lost close to $45 million as a result of the war in the Middle East and the increase in the price of crude oil.
I wanted to inform you that at the next adjustment to fuel, the prices will remain the same of all fuel products. But I have some not good news for you. Because of the issues in the world oil market, the war between Iran and the US, the government of St. Lucia has lost $44.9 million in revenue between the period 1st of April till now. $44.9 million revenue loss. And I think that's a very concerning situation. And let me tell you the breakdown. The breakdown of that loss is $39.2 million lost in fuel, excise tax on fuel and gas, an increase in subsidies for cooking gas of $5.7 million. Between the 1st of April and now, we've subsidized cooking gas by $5.7 million, and we've excise tax on gasoline of $39.2 million. So our revenue projections are down by $44.9 million. Very concerning the Minister of Finance, and he has absolutely no control over that. He's never fought a war in Iran. He doesn't even know where Iran is. And he causes no war. So I just want to alert you to that situation. It's very concerning, but we've agreed that we will keep the price of fuel the same for the next 3-week period, even if fuel has gone up past $100 last week. It went up past $100. But as you know, there's a lag effect. When the price goes up in one session, it takes some time to reach us. So the situation on the oil market is not very good news for St. Lucia. Not good news at all.
The island's Prime Minister, Minister with responsibility for finance, again revealing that as of April the 1st up until now, St. Lucia has lost close to $45 million as a result of the increase in the price of crude oil on the world market. The question is, lost? How much did the government of St. Lucia gain when the price of crude oil on the world market was in the 60s? And the government of St. Lucia refused to pass on those benefits to consumers in St. Lucia, refused to provide us with some kind of reprieve, soulagement at the pump. And that's a question that the reporter should be posing to the Prime Minister when he says that between April and now, the government of St. Lucia has lost close to $45 million. How much did it gain when the price of crude oil in the world market was very low. And I don't think it's a case where the government lost. It didn't lose per se, because that went to the benefit of the people of St. Lucia. So you didn't lose anything. 4522979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let's see there. Tim, with all due respect, every time the PM appears on my television, it really disturbs my spirit. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Only conveying that message to you, the audience. Another one, let's see if you have a WhatsApp message, and it says there, good day, Tim. All those people are lying. I don't know what the fire service and the government hiding. Speak the truth, man. There was a fire, just say that. Why cover up? Both fire service and police heads, their complexion red. Tim, why are they saying that they made a profit on fuel during budget and now saying they lost millions? The math not mathing. Again, according to a WhatsApp message. The other one says there, tell him to go back with that tactic he's trying to play on our minds. How much did he make with our passports? And some more messages. It says there, with all the information going on about the St. Jude Hospital, I think whoever is in charge should put one of the largest. Okay, I think I've read this already. Let us take a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
I would like you.
There's something
I
in
don't know what to say.
the disturbance in the background. Take care of it first, please. The disturbance in the background.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tim, I really don't understand what this guy was saying there, the Prime Minister. When did that war started in Iran?
Well, I think about February it started.
No, it hasn't been that long since that was in not February.
Yeah, February.
That must have started in
No, this year, caller. This year, February.
I know it's this year, but it's not February, Tim.
Yes, February.
Yeah, but how many wars they have had before?
Yeah,
and has St. Lucia ever lost that kind of money?
We would have lost before, yes, because every time there is a war, especially in the Middle East, that affects the price of crude oil. And invariably that cost has to be passed on either to the consumer or the government would have to subsidize.
Not the government. I don't know. This guy is a disgrace, man. Because every time these guys come on and after he say what he has to say, he has to laugh, make it as it's a big joke. A lot of my friends over here, that's St. Lucia, saying when they speak to their friends, they tell their friends this guy is their Prime Minister. People are ashamed of this guy now. And St. Lucia because of him. I don't understand what's going on down there. And the money threatening the guys when he came to give a speech about Frederick, that he's not going. It's like a threat. I'm not going to make any comments about this. This is a threat. No, man, I don't believe this. That's the St. Lucia I knew. That's not the St. Lucia I knew in Compton and all that. No, man. Thank you, Tim.
Okay, caller. Somebody is calling from the diaspora. Thank you so much for that contribution. Let's see if we can go through some more of your WhatsApp messages. And somebody says there, please ask our Prime Minister how much did he make on the citizens of St. Lucia while the price of gas was down and he didn't bring it down for years. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Let's see if we have some more of your messages to go through. Somebody says there, yes, Mr. Prime Minister, you're talking about the loss. What about the profits you never want to talk about? Again, according to a WhatsApp message. Some more messages, and somebody says there, granted, the country lost $45 million, which is a substantial amount of money. However, how much was gained prior to that period? Again, according to a WhatsApp message. A call on the landline. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Timothy, pleasant good afternoon to you and your listeners all over the world. PW on the line, Timothy.
Yes, caller. Good afternoon to you.
You know, boy Timothy, as one caller said, every time I see the Prime Minister on my television set, Timothy, or I'm listening to him over the radio, Timothy, I just cannot see this man on my television screen. He thinks about how much money the government has lost. But how much money did the public spend, on gas? That's what I want to know. How much money did he spend on St. Jude? How much money have we made on CIP? These are the estimates. These are the figures we want to hear, Timothy. But this is not what I called for this afternoon, Timothy. You know, Timothy, over the weekend, I had a chance to carry out a survey of water trucks trucking water to the various hotels in the north of the island. And there were at least 45 runs by these trucks, Timothy. You know, I foresee there will become a time where we will be competing with the hotels for water. There is immense pressure on Wasco now. We tend to blame, Wasco. But the government is the problem, Timothy. As I said, 45 water runs to the various parts of the north of the island, supplying the hotels. How the hotels are being supplied with so much water. And there are certain areas in St. Lucia that doesn't get water for at least a week or two. The government needs to look into that. You had a very popular caller on your phone, I forget his name. He normally call and talk about the way Wasco distribute water and the storage of water and the harnessing of water. But this is one of the things that we have to look at. We cannot afford that these hotels are being supplied constantly. And the number of places in St. Lucia that is without water, we have to look into that. Where are these water trucks getting all the water? Timothy, where are they getting all the water? I need to know. There is an increase in water for the local consumer. What about the increase? I hope there's an increase in water when it comes to trucking water to these various hotels. So the government needs to look into that, Timothy. Thank you ever so much, Timothy.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for calling. Somebody says that, Tim, can you ask Wasco to give Plateau some water? Please, I left yesterday, was home, and both of my tanks are empty. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Let's see if we can go through some more of your messages. You call about the water trucks to the hotels on Sunday, which just passed. Is true. Several people at the beach and along the highway saw these trucks for real. What's irritating me is that I haven't had water in Carolee for a few days now. Even if the Prime Minister cannot comment on the personal matter with Richard Frederick, he should be able to assure us that there is no impropriety as far as SSDF is concerned. Again, according to a WhatsApp message. Some more of your messages. Somebody says there, our water they're collecting in VA4 just now, we in VA4 will be expecting no water. Some more of your messages to go through. And what somebody says there. All right, let's see. A WhatsApp message. And that person says there, good day. That Richard Frederick saga has to end once and for all. I only hope the Prime Minister will do what he has to do to relieve the Minister from his duties. The Minister is a lawyer. He should know better and it says there Richard has to go. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Another one says there, I want to remind the Prime Minister that it is the right of the St. Lucian citizenry to demand answers for the business of the country. He owes the people of St. Lucia answers to our questions. When monies are deducted from our salaries and taxes paid in other areas, these monies pay your salary and the salaries of your government. The Prime Minister doesn't like answering serious questions, telling us that's not your business, as it pertains to the business of the country, is unacceptable. The Prime Minister looks stressed and annoyed in the video clip that was just played. His seat is steaming hot these days. As the idiom goes, how you make your bed is so you shall lay on it. Mr. Prime Minister, how much did you make when oil prices were low and our fuel/petrol was high? Again, according to a WhatsApp message. Another one says there, if we are waiting for the police investigation to be completed for the Prime Minister to make a statement on the RF controversy, I guess the Officer Tyson investigation has given us an indication what to expect. Again, according to a WhatsApp message. Let's see there. Trying to go through as many of your messages as possible. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, I have a 79-year-old brother who needs care. After he had over 4 caregivers who did a good job, they sent another lady who I would say she wasn't doing a good job, but I was missing things, so I made a complaint. Then my little brother said he will dismiss the program. Anyway, he was doing the best we could for months until my 79-year-old fell ill, and leaving him home alone, fell from the bed and became more sick. I was told to go to SSDF to fill a form, which I did. Anyway, it's almost 3 months. I'm hearing is there's no money to pay workers, shortage of staff, and so many excuses. Right now, the supervisor's not saying a word to me. Is it not what the SSDF is for, to take care of the elderly who's vulnerable? My brother's ID card is Castries Central. I'm born in Castries Central because my ID card is addressed another place. I was asked to change my ID card so that my brother can get assistance from Equity. I have asked right now. He is still alone when I'm at work. All SSDF said to me, when his name comes up, they will send somebody. It's almost, I can say, 3 months. All they say, shortage of staff and government don't have money. But God is good. The person continues, there is an increase in water bills and no water in Wasco, always disconnecting people water. Again, according to a WhatsApp message. Another one says, Tim, yesterday I had a conversation with a nurse who works at St. Jude, and she told me that they will be moving to the new hospital this month. But I'm just realizing this month has only 2 days left, according to a WhatsApp message. And somebody says there, Tim, the government cut on costs with the STEP program. Prisoners getting some fresh air, protect their own. SSDF money is gone thanks to certain people. Again, according to a WhatsApp message. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Thanks. Again, according to a WhatsApp message. The broadcast continues in just a moment with at least 1 or 2 more calls, and then we'll conclude with our NewsSpin news of the day. This is the most monitored talk show in the world.
Advance your career at Lightspark Training with a globally recognized certification. Conveniently located on High Street, Castries, Lightspark offers a wide range of programs to make the most of your career. Certifications in project management, risk management, quality management, marketing, ACC accounting, human resources, Microsoft, Cisco, and IT technician certification, graphic design, web design, and programming. Complete a diploma in accounting in 6 months or a bachelor's degree in just over a year. Call us today at 451-8918 or visit us at www.lightspark.com.
out.
Now is the time to head up. Join us at the Bellevue Hotel Rooftop Lounge for the Rooftop After Work Lime, happening every last Thursday from June through November. We kick things off Thursday, June 25th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Come through for sunset views,
team cocktails,
good music,
great people,
and the kind of lime that makes you forget about that work email. Bring your crew,
meet somebody new,
and enjoy a different seasonal vibe every month.
Entry is US $40 per person.
Space is limited, so don't get left downstairs. Call 456-1800 to reserve your spot. The Rooftop After Work Lime at Bellevue Hotel.
Your new favorite way to end the month.
Every day, the pain is still there. Back, neck, shoulder, hip, chronic arthritis, pain down your leg to your toes, or heel pain when you put your foot on the ground. You've tried many things, but nothing works. Waiting will only make it worse. At La Clinique du Corps, we find the real cause of your pain using advanced MRI scans from head to toes with no radiation for more accurate results. Our specialist doctors provide faster diagnosis and effective treatment. Less pain, better movement, better life. All insurance is accepted. Call now before it gets worse. 451-6559, that's 451-6559, or WhatsApp 721-9950. WhatsApp 721-9950. La Clinique du Corps. Stop suffering. Start living.
We ready for the road. We ready for the road. We First National. Your next move bold. We ready for the road. We ready for the road. We First National. Your next move bold. Get ready for your next ride with the drive ahead from First National Bank. Enjoy up to 100% financing and rock bottom interest rates on new vehicle loans. Because we're not only here for you, we're driving ahead with you. For the road with First National Bank. Your next move bold. Visit one of our partner dealerships, any First National Bank branch or firstnationalbankonline.com today. Promotion runs through November 30th. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you looking for premium quality, frozen fresh at an unbeatable price? Visit Kenty's today, your one-stop shop for wholesale and retail liquor and frozen foods. Now fully stocked with chicken wings, chicken legs, chicken necks, pigtails, turkey wings, and so much more. Visit Kenty's on Chaussee Road today or give them a call at 461-3446. Kenty's, frozen fresh, great prices, and service you can trust.
Lucilec aveti ou pour point précaution durant saison cyclone ça là. Mi un petit commission qui kaywen de ou protéger la vie ou ek propriétaire ou. Kouye Lucilec avant ou trim et ben couper pied bois qui pou ligne électrique. Veillez pour ligne courant électrique avant ou monter l'échelle. Fait assurer l'échelle, scaffold et bout d'outil ou ka servi pas venir moins qui 10 pieds hors ligne courant électrique. Pas jamais servi appliance et ben outils qui ka servi courant électrique. Des wall côté qui mouillé et ben en la pli. Ça c'était en commission hors Lucilec.
Exceeding your expectations is what we strive for at Lazarus Funeral Home. Losing a loved one isn't something you can foresee. Since the beginning, affordability has been one of our priorities. Every day we're proving that burials don't have to be expensive. If cost is a factor in your time of bereavement, call Lazarus Funeral Home. We have coffins starting at $800 plus taxes. Nothing can cause more disappointment than poor quality. Help us help you. Keep your last memory of your loved one sacred. Make it special. Make it Lazarus Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Located at Bibliothèque Castries at 452-7491 and New Dock Road V4 at 454-6555.
Stop paying full price. With Flow, you can slash your bill in half. You heard right. Cut your mobile bill in half when you add mobile to internet. That's the most reliable Wi-Fi at home. Plus, all the data you need on the go. So don't wait. Double your connection and double your value for half the price. Add mobile to internet today. Visit in-store or online at discoverflow.co for more details.
St. Lucia, are you ready? The Kings are back. This August, come
Come experience the excitement of the Republic Bank. Caribbean Premier League cricket. As the St. Lucia Kings light up the Darren Sammy cricket ground. Join us on August 12th, 14th, 16th, 19th and 21st from 7 p.m. Come for the cricket, come for the entertainment. Come for the music, the vibes, the food and the unforgettable atmosphere. Bring your friends, bring your family, and wear your King's colors with pride as we defend our home turf. St. Lucia Kings, one nation, one pride. Get your tickets now and be part of the action at the Darren Sammy cricket ground.
Ladies and gentlemen, students, parents, and lovers of great entertainment, the countdown has begun. On Friday, 26th of June, from 12:30 p.m., the RC Boys Schoolyard comes alive with talent, creativity, excitement, and celebration. 4 prestigious titles will be awarded. Calypso Monarch,
Epic Events and Events St. Lucia presents St. Lucia Mercury Fest Weekend, August 14th to 16th. A unique crossover event linking the English and French Caribbean. Saturday, Mercury Fest at Pigeon Island Beach, featuring Merrill, Fanny J, DJ MJ, and top regional DJs. Sunday, the Boca Run along St. Lucia's spectacular West Coast for a chance to win 5,000 euros. Tickets available at 4circlestickets.com, Bizook.com, The Cell, and 6 Car Rental in the Rodney Bay Marina. Follow us on social media. St. Lucia Mercury Fest Weekend, supported by St. Lucia Tourism Authority.
The very popular Catch a Day is back, and the buzz is going around like a busy bee. And it makes sense because customers are guaranteed 15% off on all cash machines. People have been itching to hear this news, and it's finally here. The dates, August 28th and 29th, 2026. The place is Europa Hardware in Massad. The event is Catch a Day for the fathers, men and ladies too. Everyone wants to pay less and get more. This is your time. Vacuum cleaners, pressure washers, steam cleaners, upholstery cleaners, carpet cleaners, floor scrubbers, and more. Don't say if I knew. Now you know. 452-0763 Europa.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe to the NewsSpin YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the NewsSpin YouTube channel grow. We'll take one final call, and we'll also have our NewsSpin news of the day to conclude our broadcast. Final call. Hello, good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, frère.
Oui, bon après-midi. Ça qu'a fait?
Moi la bonne nouvelle ou pas?
Moi bien. Ou même?
Madame, ça me croit pas bon dia.
Oui, croit pas bon. She'll be back. She's scheduled to be back tomorrow, God spare, or God willing.
Okay, well, all right then. Anyways, good afternoon, brother. Good afternoon to listeners all over the world. Tim, I never can seem to understand the necromancy the Labour Party has with that 80-year-old structure. You know? I can never understand. When things are outside of human beings, when things are already 80 years old, Tim, it's time for them to be discarded. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah.
And the government, well, especially the Prime Minister and his cabinet and stuff seem to be mentioning a word by they mention resilience all the time. Do they know that this word has a definition? And resilience is a word that was used by urban planners in big cities some 10-15 years ago, in a way in which they go around designing the city around global warming issues. So rising temperature temperature and the ever shrinking concentration of oxygen in our air. So resilience is a term used to build the modern day city in order to incorporate it into nature, so the city could withstand hurricane forces and other abnormal weather patterns that have been occurring over the years. The Philip JP administration only mentions the word team. They are not building anything resilient. How are you calling it resilience when you're working on a 8-year-old structure? Just so Kenny and Tony can have an opportunity to put in the country again, Tim. How are you going to mention it resilience, Tim? I think it's time, Tim, that we let go the NewsSpin pitbull on the government of St. Lucia, you know. And I'm not referring to her as a pitbull as a bad, in terms of a bad way, as a protective animal of its owners. Someone who has to do as a duty. Makuled koto, il est pour l'argent le gouvernement. Ouais même mani a pas tweeté waskoa, il est pour l'argent le yo makuled. Pourtant dodo, nous bouison right now là, ou c'est seule femme à pas dire c'est madame la Kamachek Sierra Flood là qui n'y envoie Saint-Lucie. Ou c'est seule madame me connaît Saint-Lucie qui willing à pas dire pan Sierra Flood pour do bout by c'est madame là qui en pays. Et tout on est sauf makuled, moi le continuer à parler ba non, et nous bouison comme même manière quoi aller des waskoa, commencer à aller des gouvernement non. Et me pressure là. And again Tim, today is July what?
28th.
How many days do we have in July?
You have 2 more days. 2 more days.
Okay, so have you heard anything about maybe the 14th grand opening of St. Jude's?
No.
Huh?
No, I haven't.
No, they just make this announcement, Tim, to keep the base happy and to give them the fodder so they can go out there and say, hey, I beat you. And the victory. And Casa St. Jude's opening next week. And finally, there's this young lady, a doctor, that when they were doing the fiasco in St. Jude's, that I don't know, I think she was under pressure to come out and say, oh, the hospital is going to be this and the hospital is going to be that. They have done a great disservice to this young lady, because every time people remember these announcements, that's the face they're going to see, because it's happening to me. Every time I remember the malproperty they were spreading on NewsSpin and all over the place, the first face I see is the doctor who kept on coming on TV explaining as if it was her job to explain and not the government's job. Anyways, Tim, you have yourself a wonderful day. And big up Senior Rigo, but anyway, sit down, stand up, and lay down in the world. Love you, St. Lucia. Take care of you guys. Get well soon, champion.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for calling. Let me turn my attention now to the NewsSpin news of the day. The NewsSpin news of the day reads, Johnson & Johnson is moving to close a bruising legal chapter with a proposed $5.5 billion payout to resolve nearly all remaining lawsuits linking its talc-based products to ovarian cancer. The NewsSpin news of the day once again, Johnson & Johnson is moving to close a bruising legal chapter with a proposed $5.5 billion payout to resolve nearly all remaining lawsuits linking its talc-based products to ovarian cancer. That's the broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. My name is Timothy Poleon. Goodbye.